We're on the air.
We're on the air.
And around here, that can sometimes be just a good thing. We're already ahead of the curve. Happy Thursday, everybody. 19th day of July, 2018. I am Dan Kuntz, your host of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Steve Hare, our news director for the entire organization. To my left, Cat in control once again today, and Paul Shelp is standing by in the green room. Paul is the interim executive director of the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center.
Ooh.
They do really good work. And they solicited me to come on the show. That doesn't happen too often.
Look up the word dispute and you'll find Dan's page there.
That's right. Looks like this. Anyway, Paul will be on. We'll have a good conversation about their fine organization. They do really, really good work. If you need their services, these folks really know what they're doing. And this will be a great conversation with Paul. That's the second half of the show. Of course, Steve has his headlines. That's what we pay him a lot of money to do. You make a ton of money. So.
Go tell my wife that.
The other day, Steve doesn't know this. Steve was at Safeway in East Wenatchee, and he bought like $150 worth of groceries, and he walked out with the cart and he just threw it all in the garbage can. That's how much money he makes.
Boy. Keep it up, Dan. Just keep it up.
I'm in a good mood because I'm like
really
2 days from vacation. I'm 2 days from vacation, 2 days from being on assignment. For a whole week, I'll be gone next week, and I need it.
Yeah.
I need it. Nothing personal. I love my coworkers. I think they're just aces. They do great work. Everybody, we have a good family of professionals here, but every once in a while you got to step away from the job.
We more than anyone know that Dan needs time off.
I need a little time off. So. Yeah. And I get to spend time with my family, which is always fantastic. So that's next week. We still got work to do on this Thursday. Red flag warning, 2 of them. It starts from 10 a.m. today to 9 o'clock, and then goes away. Then it comes back on Friday. Same scenario we talked about. Very low relative humidities in the teens, 11 to 20% relative humidity, gusty winds, warm temperatures. That's the big 3. They issue a red flag warning. But the temperatures are going to be considerably cooler. This cooler trend is going to continue for another couple of days, Steve, and then right back up
lows
again.
Below 60.
Yeah, it's 68 right now. Yesterday's high, by the way, for the record, 95 degrees. But we do have red flag warnings, 2 of them that are ready to be issued. They'll come, then they'll go, then they'll come back again on Friday and go away again on Friday night. But the National Weather Service is free to change their mind if weather conditions so warrant. But
we did dodge a bullet yesterday, so no major fires burning here. But I was looking at some of the weather radar shots, and apparently there's a pretty big fire burning up in just above the Okanagan County boundary there in British Columbia.
Okay.
And that's sending quite a bit of smoke into that Winthrop area this morning, so watch out for that.
At 3 minutes after the hour, let's take you around North Central Washington with our Valley View cameras. As always, the cross camera, the affectionately entitled cross camera, because it's pretty much right next to the cross at the very tip of Wenatchee Heights as we look over the valley proper on a good-looking Thursday morning. Gave the air conditioner a break. It's been running nonstop since Monday, and I shut her off last night. It's still on. It's just on fan, not on cool, just so we can circulate the air. But it's a pleasant morning. And you can go out and do things this afternoon without worrying about breaking a huge sweat, because we're not going to get into 90 today. It'll be in the 80s for our afternoon high. That's pretty pleasant for this time of the year. So we begin, as always, with the Wenatchee Valley proper. And now it's a guessing game with Steve and I. Wow. Kat says, no, wait a minute.
That's a shot.
No, let's think about this, Steve. I want to say that might be Billy Goat moved over. Okay, Kat, then I give up. That's upper,
the upper Butte. So
that's the upper Butte camera.
Looking down on the Columbia River.
Yeah, that's an angle I don't think we've ever used before. That is neat.
This might be the view they get from, well, the paragliders. Is that where they launch from? The other side.
Just on the other side. So that's because we can move these cameras about 345 degrees. Oh, not quite all the way around, Steve, but pretty close. And that last 15 degree we can't use because you get the support tower and the guy wires in the way and you can't see anything. But
boy, it gives you a great perspective on the plateau, though,
doesn't it though? That is just an incredible view.
Yeah, the bench. Yeah.
That is just neat. Good job, Kat.
Yeah.
I like that.
Different perspective on our little world here.
Let's go to camera 3. Now I can't wait. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Rock Island. That's the Rock Island camera. That's up a little bit and a little bit to the right, the mighty Columbia. Oh, see, we're moving it. There you go.
Hey, this is cool.
Isn't this neat? So the East Wenatchee bench is now in view. You can see
Rock Island
portions of the
Palms.
Hollander Golf Course. And the Rock Island Golf Course at the bottom of your screen. The Rock
A little
Island.
windy out there this morning.
It is a little breezy. Well, it's exposed. You know, the camera is up there, and the wind can move it around a little bit. That's just a really, really nice view. Wenatchee way off to the right in the East Wenatchee Bench. That's cool stuff. Good morning, Rock Island. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday. Let's go to camera number 4 and see. We're looking at
Leavenworth. We're looking at from Tumwater Mountain.
That's Tumwater. That's zoomed right on into beautiful Leavenworth, isn't it?
Well, look at that.
Kat's got she's all creative today.
What's the deal here?
She must not be feeling well.
Oh, now we're going to zoom out.
Zooming out, isn't that wonderful?
Beautiful morning.
Beautiful morning. A little hazy. 53% relative humidity. It hasn't been that high in a long time. Good job, Kat. Look at that. That's just incredible stuff, isn't it? This is God's country. I mean, there's a reason people come here to live here.
Oh, boy.
You get everything. You know,
well, I was up at Lake Wenatchee over the weekend, and it was a full campground right through midweek. So, yeah, we were a popular place.
Yeah. Did anybody recognize you, by the way, when you were camping?
I didn't venture out of the very often.
Okay.
It's pretty hot up there.
Yeah, because I know that's a problem with you when you're out in public. Oh, it's Steve Hare, oh my goodness. And then here's a little tip. I carry pre-autographed
I'm usually
business
running
cards
from people for a reason.
Yeah. If you ever see Steve running, that means somebody's chasing him. I can guarantee you that. Let's take a look at your weather forecast from the National Weather Service. Once again, a red flag warning will begin at 10 o'clock this morning and will go until 9 o'clock today, and then again from 11 o'clock Friday morning until 9 o'clock on Friday night. So in the overnight hours, the red flag warning is not going to be in effect. Winds out of the west about 10 to 15 miles an hour, pretty consistent, gusts above 20 at times. And the big story in the afternoon, those relative humidities get way down there, between 10 to 20% relative humidity. Wind for today, for the Wenatchee Valley proper now I'm talking about, northwest wind 10 to 16 miles an hour, gust near 25. Clear tonight, 59 for the overnight low. That's been a while since we've had overnight lows in the 50s. Again, a little breezy tonight, very consistent wind. Northwest wind 13 to 17 miles an hour. Not quite as windy Friday, Steve, but still just enough for a red flag warning. And look at that, cooler still. With a high of only 86. Now here's the good deal. Saturday is going to be perfect. If you like sunny and warm and not hot and a light breeze, it doesn't get any better than Saturday. Sunshine, 86 degrees, wind out of the west, less than 10 miles an hour. That is perfect weather for anything. Golfing, gardening, boating, water skiing, just being outside. It can't get much better than Saturday. Sunday's not bad either, just a little bit warmer. And here's that next warming trend coming up. Another high pressure ridge will begin to be moving in. And look at Sunday 90, then bump up to 95, and then 97, and then 98, right back to the hot stuff.
It's drying out, or it's dried out, I should say,
it is dried
at this
out,
point. So, folks, take it easy out there.
And not a drop of precipitation anywhere to be had.
Wouldn't take much to spark a fire.
No, so there you go. Red flag warning one more time. I can't stress this enough. 10 o'clock to 9 o'clock today, so 10 o'clock this morning till 9 o'clock tonight. Then it goes away. Then it comes back again from 11 to 9 on Friday, 11 in the morning till 9 o'clock in the evening on Friday. And then hopefully a nice, quiet, safe, fun weekend. 8.5 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a quick 1-minute break. When we come back, Steve Hare is going to have your Thursday morning headlines. The news is brought to you by our friends at Cascade Medical. Trained by the physical therapist who loves the outdoors as much as you do. Cascade Medical, partners in your health.
The physical therapists at Cascade Medical love the outdoors as much as you do. But sometimes where there's love, there's also pain. Let us help you get back to the activities that you love. Cascade Medical, partners in your health.
What's a big chill? It's the region's first major hard cider tasting event coming to Kashmir on July 28th. You'll find 11 local cider makers, games, a cider making exhibit, food, and live music in the Big Chill Pavilion. Get tickets to the Big Chill Cider Fest at CascadeFarmlands.com. Thanks to supporters of this message.
Eplodolin Assisted Living, affordable care with a home-like atmosphere, and Shirley Bakery, an old-fashioned bakery with homemade taste.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
It's July 19th. Welcome back to the program. Here are some of the stories we're following around north central Washington this morning. First of all, it's assumed that when you work in a jail, it's going to be pretty dangerous, but corrections staff at the Chelan County Regional Justice Center are claiming that working conditions at our jail are unsafe due to staffing shortages. The guards claim the situation is getting worse, and they blame county commissioners with failing to address the matter. Commissioners announced last week that they had accepted the resignation of Jail Director Kurt Lutz. They explained at that time that his departure was prompted by budgetary issues and changes in the way modern jails are operated.
When you start housing prisoners, it's a very complicated process. There are so many rules and regulations that they have to follow. They have to be done timely. They have to be done right. And so just to throw people together doesn't work. And because it's so complicated, it does get very expensive. We've been operating at a deficit for a while and having to take money out of the general fund to match shortfalls after all of our partners have paid their share. And so we're looking at both the funding and at the whole process. We hope that when Bill comes in, that he will be we especially were impressed by his leadership capability. He will be helping us select a new director, and we hope they have responsibilities not for only fiscal responsibilities, but they have organizational responsibilities and need to be able to defend their case. We have to watch costs, we have to watch safety, we have to watch the process, and so all three of those legs really have to be honored and taken care of.
Now, after Lou's resignation, retired Washington State Patrol Commander and former Security Chief of the Chelan County PUD, Bill Larson, has been appointed as interim director. Jail employees, though, have issued their own news release through their union representative, Tom Cashman. Cash said he remains optimistic that the change of leadership will help address some long-standing labor issues.
Well, this morning we were able to actually meet with the interim director, Bill Larson, and we're cautiously optimistic. We've been addressing the majority of these concerns over the past 10 plus years, and it's reached a tipping point. The employees are basically now asking for the county to address the issues with safety, which encompasses the facility, staffing, training, pretty much just a litany of items that have pretty much gone unaddressed for the past 10 plus years.
Now, the union maintains the issues raised by staff and unaddressed by the county will ultimately, in their words, result in someone being seriously injured or killed, end quote. They report that 3/4 of the daily inmate population is comprised of convicted felons and the mentally ill. Also, the Wenatchee Valley Chamber of Commerce hosted a candidates forum yesterday at Pybus Public Market. It was a chance for the 5 candidates running for Chelan County Commissioner District 2 position to introduce themselves.
There are so many things that we need to think about as we go into our future, how we're going to make that happen. We know about some of the existing problems that are out there, like housing stock going down, and the fact that we need to look at real solutions for that. We have this incredible diverse economy in tourism and agriculture and construction, and we need to look at ways to continue to advocate for that. And all these things matter so deeply for me. And I know that this is my first foray into public service, but the thing is that I have an incredible amount of passion for the people and the place that we live in.
I've really found that where we get things done is where we have an ability to listen to one another, to bring together all our ideas at a very close level, to have discussions about what is best for our community. And then when we have a plan that meets the needs of most people, that we then can proceed, and we are there very powerful in getting things done. We can get things done if we work together. And I believe I have that kind of track record, that kind of experience.
And I really love the community values that up and down the valley, throughout the county, that our community exudes. And certainly it has become one of the most desirable locations in the country for people to move to. But as that has happened, we have more and more pressures that are potentially impacting our community. And I want to try to bring my experience having managed with the U.S. Forest Service and what I would say is a very fiscally conservative manner to county government.
Having worked for the county, I am the only candidate that has the inside knowledge and know-how of how the county functions and doesn't functions, and how to internally empower the people that need to be empowered and fill the positions that need to be filled with the right people, so getting the right people in the right positions, so the county can start to function for its citizens again.
We need to ensure that we have enough houses for everyone that's coming to the valley, everyone that's already in the valley. We need to ensure that we have enough jobs for everybody that's coming to the valley, and not just high-paying jobs, but middle-income jobs as well. I've had the opportunity to own and operate the Walkabout Grill here in the valley for the last 22 years, and it has given me a perspective on what is needed for not only the population and the customers, but also from the employee standpoint as to what their needs are as well.
Now, yesterday it was the commissioner's turn. Today at the PIBUS, it's the state legislature. Chamber hosting 7 candidates running for 2 positions on the state's 12th legislative district. Again, that starts at 7:30 this morning. Ballots for the August election are being mailed out tomorrow. A heads up for you folks living in the Malaga area. Today, starting at 9 a.m., the water district there will be shutting off the water to install a new line there. The shut-off is necessary to complete the job and should last around 6 hours. The shut-off will impact most of Malaga streets as well as the farm worker camps along the Malaga-Alcoa Highway. And for more information, you can contact the Water District. That phone number is 664-0142. Poverty, legal status, and societal expectations are all challenges immigrant families confront in their everyday lives. A new documentary produced by TVW takes a look at these issues, working closely with Wenatchee High School's Mariachi Wenatchee.
And then we'll do singing. I come from a family of mariachi musicians. My mom is a mariachi, my brother. I played professionally, but then once I started teaching youth, I never went back. Match 'em. So, not la 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 la. We went on da 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 da. When I first got here in 2005, about 40% of the program didn't graduate high school. The first note, ready? Yeah, the first note. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. Their dreams were just to finish high school, get a job, or go work in agriculture.
The legal status of a percentage of our students is a big hurdle. You know, the parents will bring their children here, or they'll come and then all of a sudden they have a child here. But that doesn't mean they went through the legalization process of the United States. You know, it's a lot better here than over where they're coming from, obviously. Otherwise, they wouldn't be coming to this country. Legal status does get in the way of some very bright students in our school.
Beautiful little documentary put together there by TVW, and we thank them for the use of that. By the way, closing out our newscast this morning, a small family pet is being credited with preventing a burglary. Earlier in the week, around 3:15 in the morning, a residential burglary interrupted by this little fella, Bean, a 3-pound Chihuahua. Bean began growling and barking loudly, waking up his owner. Well, the owner went into the living room and found a male intruder standing in the kitchen going through their refrigerator. That intruder left the residence but was caught a short distance away by police. The family very proud of little Bean there for his excellent guard dog skills. According to his owner, he was entirely unexpected there. Big surprise. After his busy morning and a quick photo shoot, Bean, who we should refer to as Mr. Bean now, I suppose, was content to go back to sleep. And speaking of guard dogs, there she is.
Oh, I recognize her.
The Hare family is well protected by our stalwart sentry. Her name is Thumbelina. This was her Pavlovian response when the pizza delivery guy rang the doorbell. So obviously she'll kill you with kindness, but I don't know whether she's much for an attack animal.
No, so, Thumbelina is a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah,
you brought her to the office a couple weeks ago.
I mean, my gosh.
Yeah. Steve brought Thumbelina to the office on Bring Your Dog to Work Day, and she just kind of walked around and let everybody pet her. She's just a big...
She is. Big, fluffy pet.
Yeah.
She's a glutton for affection.
She is. Whenever I go over to see Steve and Lynette, I sit down on the couch and Thumbelina just jumps right up on your lap. How you doing, Dad? What's going on? So, and it's funny, these little dogs, they have this attitude. You know, they like to think they're big German shepherds, and they're just these.
And how we get so attached to them, you know.
Yeah. Dogs are part of the family.
They
no
are.
doubt about that.
They are.
Speaking of dogs, hey, it's Thursday. That means we got Kennel Cameos with Megan McPherson coming up. Kennel Cameos. Where do you see if we can get Rocky the dog a home for the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society? Rocky the dog is a German Shepherd, and I have an affinity for German Shepherds, but Rocky deserves a home. We're going to introduce you to Rocky here in just a couple of minutes. We also have all the other shenanigans you're used to, and the news, which is the one thing that we all get together as a team and put together a nice little newscast for you at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. What happened on this Thursday, you can find out in a nice little half-hour dose. It's completely painless, so you don't need a prescription. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. It's available.
It's portable.
What's that?
It's portable.
It is portable. Yeah, you can watch the news right on this baby right here. Well, not this. This is my phone. You can't have it. But it's on. We stream it online. It's available on demand. It's available on our Facebook page. And we try to make it as easy as possible for you, our viewers, to get a hold of us. And with those details, once again, Steve Hare.
And we want to thank everyone for all of your help during the course of the last couple of weeks in the fires, for sharing with us news tips and other information that helped us disseminate that information. But again, here's how you can do it. If you see news happening, you can call us on our hotline at 888-6295. That's 888-NCWL. You can also talk to us on our Facebook and Twitter pages. Good way to contact us on our Facebook page is just go to the top of the page, click that little tab that says Contact Us. It'll leave a little scroll down to give you news tips and everything else. So communicate with us that way. And as always, email, a good way to talk to us. Our address is news@ncwlife.com.
68 degrees, lots of sunshine, red flag warning for today, and another red flag warning for Friday. A calm weekend. We gradually start warming up. High today of only 88 degrees, so it's not going to be too bad at all. Still to come, sports, the obscure holiday, today in history, birthdays. Everyone is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion, Kennel Cameos, and my conversation with Paul Shelp of the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Stop a Fussing and a Fight and Let's Get This Thing Taken Care of Center, which is way too big to put on a business card. All coming up between now and 8 o'clock. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, live this morning from Studio 4 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Life Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Hare.
Catch us on Local Tel Channel 12.
You can watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook,
where we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Life channel.
Did you know that our pets can put on extra weight just like us? Obesity is the most common preventable disease in dogs and cats. Your pet's excess weight can lead to health issues like joint pain, arthritis, diabetes, high blood pressure, and more. Dr. Shauna Bayes and the staff at Paws and Claws Veterinarian Hospital care about your pets, and they can help you keep them lean and healthy. Call Paws and Claws today at 888-PAWS or find them on the corner of 4th and Isle in East Wenatchee.
And we are back on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley at 24 minutes after the hour. Let's take a look at sports. Hunter Boyd scattered 5 hits in a solo home run at the top of the ninth. Tossed a complete game for the Apple Sox. That's a rarity. Wenatchee dispatched the Portland Pickles. No real problems last night at home. The final was 10-1. Boyd, a senior at the College of Idaho, graduate of Moses Lake High School. He struck out 8. Masterful performance. Became one of the very few Apple Sox pitchers to go the distance in a 9-inning game.
Game 2, Pickles ran away with that in the laugher. A 9-0 triumph. Down on 3 strikes, looking is Cooper for the second out of the inning. Looking for back-to-back strikeouts to end the inning. Delivers, and there it is, called strike 3. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. Hit hard by McCord to right field. singled in the first and third inning, 2 for 3 on the day. Connects on this pitch, lofts it high in the air, but very playable. Johnny Sage will make the catch, and the Apple Sox win. A great effort on the mound from Hunter Boyd.
Joel Norman with the call on the Apple Sox Radio Network video, courtesy of the Apple Sox Facebook page and their live feed. Connor McCord finished 2 for 4 with a run and 3 RBIs. Jordan Rathbone 3 for 5 with 3 runs. The Apple Sox and the Pickles will do battle again tonight at 7:05. Nice start for the Apple Sox for the second half of the season. Earlier in the day yesterday, Apple Sox got a chance to meet the players, get the team photo autographed at the Pybus Public Market. Our own Grant Olson dropped by, and he caught up with head coach Kyle Krestangle. Asked what kind of spark his team needs to make the playoff run in the second half of the West Coast League season.
We need a little bit of consistency. I think we're starting to really play some good baseball. We opened up 6 games in a row with Bellingham, which they won the first half, so a very tough team there. But really, I think we're really close. I think, look for us, the offense has put together some really good games in a row. Pitching staff's been throwing a lot better. Team is really gelled as we've had our whole team here for about the last couple of weeks as the first half guys are coming in and out the whole time. So again, we're fired up. We're excited, ready for a couple home games. We look to see some consistency. I think when that comes, we'll definitely make a run in the second half.
The Apple Sox finished the first half of the season with an 11-14 record. They're off to a 3-4 start in the second half, but a nice victory over the Pickles last night. Also, West Coast League last night, as we look at the Les Schwab scoreboard, Tyler Lash 3 for 4 with a run, extends his hitting streak now to 7 games. And Yakima Valley got past Port Angeles. The final was 4-3. Kelowna was leading Bend 8-3, top of the 8th inning. Elk Stadium, beautiful British Columbia. The sprinkler system came on, and nobody could figure out how to turn the sprinklers off. And so they are going to resume the schedule today. At 6:35, they'll pick up where they left off. Jordan Hovey, 2 for 2 with a run and 2 RBIs. Walla Walla got past Bellingham at Borleski Stadium, 5-4. And Zach Taylor drove in a run with a double and scored on a wild pitch. All in the top of the 9th inning. Corvallis victorious. Road victory over Victoria. The final was 3-2. West Coast League schedule for today looks like this. Bend and Kelowna will finish last night's sprinkler delayed game at 5, and they'll play their regular game at 6:35. Corvallis is at Victoria. Port Angeles is at Yakima Valley. Walla Walla hosts Bellingham. Portland will play the Apple Sox again 7:05 at Paul Thomas Senior Field. Let's talk football. The Wenatchee Panther football team getting a good chance to prepare for the upcoming season. At the Wenatchee football camp, there are 13 other teams from throughout the state in town going through drills and providing the Panthers a good challenge at every step. Wenatchee head coach Scott Devereaux says it's been a good camp so far for his team, despite some injuries.
You know, I'm pleased with the effort we're putting in. We came in wounded. We have a couple guys injured from spring sports season that aren't out here that were all conference type football players. And then, Riley's in a cast from a stress fracture, and he was all conference tight end last year. And we miss him. And we have 2 free safeties, one home with the flu today, and our other guy just rolled his ankle. So that doesn't help. So we got that's kind of our first injury of camp was a rolled ankle today. So it's a chance for a lot of guys to get reps, you know. So we're looking for players. We're looking to coach our kids. We got better yesterday than we did from Sunday night. Today the goal is to get a little bit better again today.
Looking ahead to the Big 9 schedule, Devereaux says the battle for league supremacy is up in the air.
I don't think there's a really powerful team in the Big 9 that stands out right now. I think most of us have 3 non-league games before the season begins, and you want to hit that 4th game healthy, and that's kind of important. So with only 6 league games, you want to be healthy when you get into league, and then it's just battle it out.
After camp wraps up later on today, the Panthers will have a couple of weeks off to rest and relax, and then their preseason workouts begin on August 15th. First game of the 2018 campaign, August 31st at Mount Si High School in Snoqualmie. And that is sports at 29 minutes after the hour on this Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan Coots, your host. It's time for the obscure holiday of the day today, and today is Daiquiri Day, National Daiquiri Day. It's perfect. It's the perfect summertime treat. It's hot. It can be sultry at times. The daiquiri, cool and refreshing to relieve the heat. The original daiquiri consists of rum, lime juice, and sugar, and lots of ice. Can't forget about that. The daiquiri goes back to 1898. when a mining engineer mining in Havana, Cuba, came up with the idea of the daiquiri, the frozen daiquiri. Thank you very much, Ernest Hemingway. He was a pretty good writer, and he loved his daiquiris, and his bartender at his local bar, again in Havana, Cuba, he said, make me a daiquiri and then fill it full of ice and put the whole thing in a blender and spin it around and see what happens. Lift your glass in celebration of National Daiquiri Day today. And let's do Today in History. For all of you baseball fans out there who say, our team is in last place, we're never going to make the playoffs, I'm giving up on them, I want to remind you of what happened 104 years ago. There's the National League standings going into baseball. For the schedule of July 19th, 1914, you'll see at the bottom of the standings in dead last, the Boston Braves. There they are, 34-43, dead last in the National League. On this day, in 1914, they beat the Cincinnati Reds 3-2 to start their little climb up the top of the ladder. Their record over the final 87 games beginning today was 68-19. They went from dead last to first place. They won the National League pennant of 1918, and then they swept the Athletics in the World Series. The Miracle Braves of 1914 began the most miraculous run in baseball history on this date in 1914. In fact, all of our Today in History is all sports related. Today is the 66th anniversary of the games of the 15th Olympiad in Helsinki, Finland. Opening ceremonies were held on this date in Helsinki 66 years ago today. It was the very first Olympics for the Soviet Union, Indonesia, Israel, Thailand. All these countries made their Olympic debuts, as did China, the People's Republic of China, who sent one athlete, a swimmer. And then they didn't come back to the Olympics until 1984. The Helsinki Games began on this date 66 years ago today. And the games that we didn't go to, the games of the 22nd Olympiad, opened in Moscow on this date 38 years ago, July 19th, 1980. The games of the 22nd Olympiad began in Moscow, Soviet Union. 65 countries didn't bother to show up, of course, because of the Soviet war in Afghanistan. The forgotten Olympics for many people, July 19th, 1980. And finally, we got some birthdays for you. A couple of them. Robert Todd Lincoln Beckwith. There's Robert Todd Lincoln Beckwith, born in the state of 1904, died in 1985 at the age of 1, has a very unique claim to fame. He was a farmer by trade, a gentleman farmer. He was the great-grandson of Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln and his wife, Mary Todd Lincoln, had 4 children, but only one, Robert Todd Lincoln, actually survived to adulthood. Robert Todd Lincoln and his wife, Mary, had 3 children. The youngest child, Jesse, was the only one of their 3 children to have any children. Jesse and her husband had 2 kids, Mary, who died childless in 1975, and Robert Todd Lincoln Beckwith, the man on your screen, who died on Christmas Eve, 1985, again, without fathering any children. And so when he died, the Lincoln family tree came to an end. There are no surviving members of the Abraham Lincoln family. The last one, Robert Todd Lincoln Beckwith, born in the state of 1904. And Rachel Robinson, the widow of the legendary Jackie Robinson, is 96 years old today, an accomplished woman in her own right, a registered nurse. She ended up teaching professionally at Yale University. She was the professor at Yale and later the director of nursing at the Connecticut Mental Health Center. She was a great lady, still is a classy lady. The wonderful Rachel Robinson is 96 years old today. All right, 34 minutes after the hour. Everyone is entitled to Mike McNalty's opinion is coming up, and then my conversation with Paul Shelp, who is the interim executive director of the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center. Paul will be working his way into the studio shortly. But first things first, it's time for Kennel Cameos. Let's get Rocky the dog home.
Hey guys, Megan here with the NCW Life Channel. We are here with Don Davies, the Executive Director of the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, and also joining us is Rocky. Can you tell us about Rocky?
Rocky is a gorgeous German Shepherd. He's just 2.5 years old, so you can see he's still got a lot of puppy energy left in him. He is a lot of fun. He's really sweet, really playful. He's been at the shelter for a little while now, but we're just looking for an adoption for him that could be someone who's willing to take him to obedience, take him for walks and work with him. He really wants to please. He just needs someone to teach him how.
All right, and if someone wanted to adopt Rocky, what should they do?
They can come down to the Humane Society at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue. We're open 11 to 6 Monday through Friday, or 11 to 3 on weekends.
Great. Rocky, do you have anything to say?
Rocky says,
The Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org. This has been Kennel Cameos at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society.
I have a doctor who knows what they're talking about.
It's just so much more hands-on and friendly than anywhere else I've ever been.
It's really great to walk into somewhere where you feel welcomed and you feel accepted.
We've just been grateful for the care and respect that we've been given there.
And here when I come to visit my doctor, I'm not afraid to ask questions.
It's not just about getting you in and out.
I love my care at CVCH. It's awesome. Give it a try.
Hello, Wenatchee Valley. Christian Shanlin here with Bay Equity Home Loans.
Make your dream of building your own home a reality today. Bay Equity Home Loans has teamed up with Real Homes to make building your new home a smooth process. Bay Equity Home Loans of Wenatchee offers new construction loans, FHA 3.5% down, and VA 100% construction loans.
Stop on by or give us a call today.
The Arbiter of Stoke is a series that highlights a variety of outdoor adventure sports that are available in the Pacific Northwest. I dedicate my time to enjoying this natural playground. The decision is yours. How will you keep your Stoke?
Hi, Justin here, owner of Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere. Club Crow is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue. We are your one-stop bar and grill, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Looking for a fun night out? Join us at Club Crow Saturday nights. We have live bands to rock the night away. Club Crow is bringing comedy to Cashmere. Check out our Facebook page for upcoming dates. Live jam session first Sunday of every month. Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
Oh, hey, Nate. What you doing there?
I'm just reading a book.
A book? I didn't even know they made those anymore. Where'd you get it?
Right down the street at Yield Bookshop.
Yield Bookshop? I'm gonna go check it out.
If you're looking for a good book to read or you're in the market for some beautiful handcrafted creations from local artisans, look no further than Yield Bookshop right in the heart of downtown Wenatchee.
Hey there, Wenatchee. I'm Sean Lee, and I'm inviting you to come down and check out what we're all about at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Great beer, good food, and an endless source of entertainment for the whole family. Our Honey Blonde beer is flying off the shelves at your local grocery store. But I tell you what, it's even better on tap. And while you're here, try our signature Badger sauce with one of our delicious meals. Whether you're in the mood for a wrap, salad, pizza, or nachos, Badger Mountain Brewing has what you're looking for.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, you ever think about this? You have a girlfriend or a wife, and sometimes you don't treat them very nice. You figure, hey, this is my private life. It's nobody's business if I'm a jerk now and then. Besides, you think the wife, the girlfriend, she's sometimes less than pleasant herself. So it's her fault if I get mad at her and call her names or something like that. Well, let me tell you. There's a good chance that someone's therapist knows all about you. I mean, you never know. If you ask any mental health professional, they'll be able to tell you that they have a client or two whose significant other has no idea they've sought therapy. I tell you, that's something that maybe you should think about. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Vamanos junk haulers are pleased to announce they've added moving services to their list of ways to make your life easier. Vamanos Moving Service. No move is too big or small. In fact, Vamanos does it all. Vamanos employees are experienced at moving your home, office, business, and storage. They'll carefully load and unload your belongings. And for the do-it-yourselfers, Vamanos also rents trucks and cargo trailers. Call Vamanos Junk Haulers and Moving Service today to schedule your free estimate.
Boating is a great way to bring family and friends together. At Bob File Boats and Motors, they have the boats for any lifestyle: fishing, wakeboarding, or just relaxing on the water. Buying a new boat is more affordable than you might think at Bob File Boats and Motors. Online at bobfile.com or on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee.
Bob File Boats and Motors, we're dealing. Bob File's gonna make you smile.
We're here to celebrate every season with award-winning dining, full-service spa, and 170 waterfront guest rooms. Come experience our tradition of hospitality at Campbell's Resort on Lake Chelan.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you get 35 years of experience and customer service in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's friendly staff strongly believe in repairing before replacing and service all major brands of HVAC units. Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning is your local, independent, trained comfort specialists, proudly serving all of North Central Washington. Call 884-6444 today.
And we're back on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz, your host. Nobody likes conflict, but conflict is inevitable throughout the course of your life. But there are ways to mediate conflict, to get through conflict. And that's why we have invited Paul Shelp, who is the interim executive director of the Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center, to come visit us and tell us about the good work that they do. Welcome to the program, Paul.
Thank you very much.
Good to be have you here. You're a first-timer. All first-timers get the same first question. A little bit about Paul Shelp. Tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
Oh, okay. Well, I grew up back east. And
no, back east is big. Can you be more specific?
Yeah, I was born in Cooperstown, New York.
Okay.
But my career in baseball ended 2 days later. But
that just happened to be where the hospital was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. Okay. But my early years were in Schenectady and Syracuse.
Okay.
And then we moved to Maine. And so all up there in the way in the Northeast, and went to college in the Boston area. And before I did this, I was a pastor for 25 years.
Oh, okay.
And so I pastored in Missouri and out here in Washington.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that's how you worked your way here.
Yeah.
So obviously, I can see the transition from being a pastor to being what you do.
You're right.
Which is, take care of conflicts and mediate conflicts.
Yes.
It's a perfect job for you, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So.
When I saw the job, I decided I wanted to make a change. When I saw the job listing, I thought, well, I should have some good transferable skills. I'll see if I can convince them of that, and I guess I did because they hired me. And I've been doing it for 11 years. So,
we were talking off camera. You're busy, which is both good and bad, I suppose.
It's good.
It's good. It's good in what respect?
It's good in the respect that in being busy, we're helping people resolve things that that they would not otherwise be able to. And the reason that I say that is that all people, you said it perfectly, conflict is inevitable. It's just a part of life, okay? And the thing of it is, people get locked into conflicts, and the truth of the matter is that it doesn't mean that somebody's right or somebody's wrong, doesn't mean that they're good people or bad people. It many times just means they don't have the tools to effectively manage or resolve conflict. They don't understand some of the dynamics that keeps them locked in conflict, even as they're trying to get out of conflict. And So that's what we can offer them. We can offer those tools. We can take that same conflict, put it in a different context, and the key to resolving all conflict is communication. We can help them communicate on a level that maybe they wouldn't on their own. And I say that because if they could do that on their own, they would have. Everybody we ever see in a mediation situation has already tried to resolve this on their own. I mean, the reason they end up at the DRC isn't because they haven't tried. It's they've tried and they just can't find a way through. And so we bring to the table the tools that will help them communicate more effectively, and in communicating more effectively, find a way to come to agreements and resolve it. The other thing that we focus on, we use a certain model of mediation, and we refer to it as facilitative and interest-based. And the facilitative refers to our role as mediators. We're not there to do the problem solving. We're not there to fix the situation for them.
Or necessarily take sides?
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. We're not there to take sides, to decide who's right or wrong. We're there to facilitate a communication process that will help them move toward resolution. So the facilitative is our role. The interest-based, interests have to do with people's needs. And people have underlying needs, and sometimes they're forthcoming about that, but sometimes they're not. And sometimes they're aware of their needs, and sometimes they're not. And so our mediators are trained to be listening carefully throughout the whole conversation for those underlying interests, those underlying needs. And what we find is that many times people are locked into conflict because they have something in their mind of how to get their need met. And they tend to have kind of tunnel vision about that there's one way to resolve this. There's one way to get my need met. And when we can help people see that there's more than one way to get my needs met, as soon as they realize that, they're usually willing to change their position or what they're demanding in this and say, oh, well, sure, I can agree to that because that meets my need. I didn't see that before.
Do people understand it as general rule of thumb, when it comes to, you mentioned communication, some people are excellent writers, but they can't verbally communicate, and other people are the exact opposite.
Certainly.
They have excellent verbal communication skills, but they can't write a cohesive sentence for the life of them. Is that part of what you do, trying to figure out what they're best at from a communication standpoint?
It is. Most of what we do is verbal. And so until we come down to the agreement, and then we help them write up their agreements. And we do train our mediators to write those agreements up in the words or language of the clients. You know, I mean, we want to make sure they're grammatically correct and, you know, sound good for when they go to court if it's going to be in court. But basically, it needs to be their words, their agreement, not us, not what we think. But to address what you said before, one of the main tools we have, because we're in a facilitative role, we're not here to problem solve, we're not here to tell them what to do or decide who's right or wrong. One of the main tools that we have is we teach our mediators how to ask good, open-ended questions.
That's the key.
That's the key. And as you ask people those kind of questions that get them thinking in ways that maybe they hadn't yet, you know, thinking about things that they haven't thought of to think about yet. Insight comes, breakthroughs come, proposals come. Well, you know, if you would do this, I would agree to that. Oh, well, you know, if you're willing to do that, I didn't know you're willing to do that. And so that's how those conversations tend to go, and that's how those breakthroughs tend to come. And so by asking those kind of questions, we try to avoid closed questions, which are basically questions that can be answered with yes or no. And that's the end of the conversation, you know. So we try to ask those open-ended questions that get them to think and talk a little bit more about their situation. Tell me more about that. And then as they do, things begin to open up. And the other tool that our mediators have is they do a lot of rephrasing and reframing. In other words, they help people say the same thing they've been saying in a little different way, and finally it can be heard by the other side. You know, sometimes they keep saying the same thing, but it's the way they're saying it that's offending the other person. And so the mediator restates kind of the same thing, but takes the sting out of it, takes the negative out of it. And then all of a sudden the other person can say, oh, if that's what you've been talking about, you know, that's less offensive to me. I can respond to that.
With most of your communication verbal, is the way somebody addresses an issue has something to do with it? If you gesticulate wildly and your voice gets louder and you have a tendency to yell, you can say, now wait a minute, you know, let's shift from fourth to third to second here.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, we do a lot of that. Things can get animated, and we're okay with that. You know, emotions can run high. Our mediators are trained to you know, allow that to go in an appropriate way, but never allow it to derail the process. And so if it's going to just overwhelm the process, we'll take a break. We'll call for a caucus, which is we meet with the clients one-on-one and say, let's talk about you know, the issue that has you so upset right now. Kind of an amusing anecdote to what you said is a few years ago we had a mediation, and I think it was a divorce, and they were mediating the terms of their divorce, and the gentleman was very loud and gesticulating and just carrying on, and you know, and the mediators, they didn't quite know what to think. I mean, they didn't react, but it was just like, this guy was just, and his soon-to-be ex-wife wasn't batting an eye, you know, I mean, she wasn't bothering her, and in other words, his behavior could have been interpreted as being very intimidating and so forth. And finally she looked across the table, and I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but she looked across the table and says, he's from an Italian family from New York. They always talk this way. And the mediators go, oh, okay, we're good. She says, I'm used to it.
You mentioned divorce. My guess is that's the bread and butter. I mean, there's all kinds of different conflicts. I mean, there's probably 50 of them listed here on the sheet.
Yeah.
But marriage is at the very, very top of the list, and that's
we do a lot of family-related marriage, divorce. I mean, and a lot of parenting plans, you know, which is a part of that divorce process, and the renegotiation of parenting plans. In other words, the younger the children are when the divorce happens, the more likely that a parenting plan is going to have to be revised as those kids, you know, go through school, get older, and so forth. And people can do that on their own, but sometimes if there's conflict, they can't come to agreement. They come and sit down with our mediators, and we help them work through that.
And the physical proximity of the soon-to-be divorced parents probably has a huge role to play in that. You know,
Absolutely.
I'm going to live in little old Wenatchee town, and my ex-husband's going to move to Schenectady. You know, how do we work that out?
Right, exactly.
That kind of deal. Give me a success story. Give me a DRC success story where people came in and said, we just can't seem to get together on the issues at hand.
Okay.
And you were able to walk them through it. And
the thing that we do second to family-related divorce and parenting plans is workplace conflict. There's a lot of conflict in the workplace, and it costs businesses a lot of money. You know, I mean, conflict never happens in a vacuum. So you and I may think this little argument is just between you and I, and it doesn't affect anybody else, but really it's affecting our whole work group, that kind of thing, you know. And so we have folks that'll, bosses, human resource people finally throw up their hands and say, we can't get these people to work together. So they send them to us, and we sit down and media. So sure enough, we had an employer send 2 ladies to us. And these 2 ladies had been working together for years. Their desks were right across the aisle from each other. But when they arrived at mediation, they hadn't spoken to each other in 3 years. For 3 years, working just within feet of each other, they were doing the business of saying, would you please tell her?
Oh, no.
You know, but they would not speak directly to each other. And, you know, it's like 3 years that went on, and you decided maybe they might need mediation. So they came to mediation, and we went through mediation, and they had quite a conversation, and they finally got some things out that needed to get out, and the breakthrough came, you know, and the mediators came to me afterwards. They were all excited. They said, you're not going to believe this. I said, okay, go ahead, tell me. They said, as they were walking out of the room, one said to the other, you want to go to lunch?
Wow.
And it was like, all right, you know. So there's the times that it's really rewarding, really gratifying, because we have people come in all the time that one of the first things they say is, I don't know why I'm here. This isn't going to do any good. You know, we're not going to get anywhere here. And of course, their assumption is we're not going to get anywhere here because the other guy is not going to agree to anything. They're not going to listen to me. And it's very gratifying over and over again. Not 100% of the time, but actually statistically, about 75% of the time, 3 hours later, that's the average length of a mediation, they walk out with an agreement after saying, I don't even know why I'm here, it's not going to work. And, you know, we say, okay, that's fine, but it's because, you know, we know, well, just give this process a chance because it really does work.
How do people, we have about 5 minutes left, Paul, how do people end up landing on your doorstep to begin with? What's your number one referral to have people
Number
walk
one
in your door?
referral is the courts. The Superior Court referring family cases to us. Also, we do some small claims mediations in some counties. By the way, there's the Wenatchee Valley DRC, but we are one of 21 centers across the state of Washington. So we also do the small claims. The other referral sources, a lot of it is just from the public. A lot of it is from businesses, like I said, workplace, and so forth. We mediate all kinds of conflicts, you know, property disputes, neighbor-to-neighbor disputes, landlord-tenant disputes, all of those kind of things we could take care of, and people find us in various ways, usually the Yellow Pages or, of course, the internet, and we'll call up and say, you know, I've got this problem, can you help me? And we'll say, yeah, if you can come in. Of course, the answer to that is always, we can help you if both sides are willing to sit down with us. You know, if one side says, well, I'm not going to do that, well, there's not much we can do. We do offer some conflict coaching, which is exactly that. If the other side just won't come in to mediate with me, well, come on in and we can sit down and we can talk to you and teach you a little bit about conflict and maybe some strategies to use to try to work out the conflict, even if that person won't come to mediation.
It sounds like any kind of company in North Central Washington that has an HR department, and most companies of any size have a human resource department, just to send HR directors down to sit down with you guys for an hour is probably great training for them, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it really is, yeah.
Which brings the next step, we're running short on time. How do you find your mediators? Where do those folks come from?
You know what, our mediators come from all different walks of life, all different kinds of backgrounds. They don't have to have a certain educational background. So vocationally, they come from all different walks of life. They just have the desire and the interest. I mean, if you ask our mediators why they do what they do, the number one answer I've heard over the years is because I wanted an opportunity to give back. I want to be able to make a difference in other people's lives. And there's lots of different places that I could do that, but this offers me some training and a skill set that is gratifying, that I can see really makes a difference. When people come in, you know, and they tell you this isn't going to work, and it does work, that's gratifying. Should be pointed out that what they charge is basically your income. I mean, it's based on income. Yeah. So our charge for mediation is on a sliding scale. So part of our mission, part of our charter, all DRCs, is to offer these services to everyone, regardless of the ability to pay. So it is on a sliding scale. We'll ask you for your income and adjust the price accordingly. Yeah. WUWV-2018-07-19, which stands for Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center, WUWV-2018-07-19. There's a lot of information you can have there. If you think you might be pretty good at becoming a mediator, they'll walk you through that. You can make a donation because you're a 501(c)(3). Yes, that's right. That's right.
And if it comes to that point, sit down with these folks. You'd be amazed what you can learn, not only about getting your conflict resolved, but you're probably going to learn a lot about yourself, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. My mediators have told me many times that becoming a DRC mediator has changed their lives. I bet. It changes the way they relate to their families, to their coworkers, to, you know, because you learn so much about how to resolve a conflict, how to communicate, how to be a good listener. And
Oh,
it's
we got to go, my
life-changing.
friend.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate great conversation.
Thank you. Good
Absolutely.
to be here.
Everybody, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great Thursday. Bye-bye.